From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us, true believers, for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for May, June 2020. Things are really crazy right now in the world of comics, in the world of retail. We're finally getting able to reopen, but one of the requirements is everybody wears masks, so I got these cool ones off of Etsy, but I'll take it off now for the show. But thanks for watching. I hope everybody's safe and sound. It's been a very interesting 2 months since we had to close. I feel bad. I had grand plans of getting stuff done, and I failed miserably. But I got some stuff read, and I definitely got some relaxing in. The store is fine. We did just fine. I want to thank everybody that paid for their asides, for their holds, bought stuff off my web store, bought stuff off of eBay. I did some limited curbside when people contacted me. So I'm good. The bills are paid. Mortgages are deferred. So everything's going fine here. I'm thrilled we're able to reopen and I can have people back in the store shopping and trying to get back to normal. So I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody's doing well. Sorry if you're hearing some click-clacks. The dogs are very used to being near me for these last 2 months, so they don't like being too far away. The comics industry is in a little bit of disarray, just with everybody shutting down. Diamond Comic Distributors shut down the end of March, stopped shipping things, which I think was really the right thing to do. I think at the time they stopped, 85% of the stores had been closed by their states. So sending product to closed stores wasn't doing anybody any good. So they're starting to get ramped up. On Wednesday, May 20th will be our first shipment. It's kind of a lighter one. It's kind of the stuff that they already had in stock, and now they're waiting to get stuff from printers, and everybody's spooling back up. So what is actually coming out is going to be a little disjointed. Stuff that was supposed to come out in April will be coming out now. Stuff that was supposed to come out in May will be coming out now. So it's going to a real jumble. DC kind of kept going. They kept shipping product to closed stores, which was odd. Marvel kind of took a break. They shut down. They're going to be doing kind of a different procedure. They're going to be putting out a few books a week, and then the following week they're just going to do a few graphic novels. Then the next week, like 5 or 6 more books until July. That's when they're going to ramp back up. So any big events, new number ones, things like that, won't be happening until July. So I'll talk about that stuff on a future show. So now I'm going to just talk about the stuff that I think is going on. That'll be coming out in the next, say, 5 or 6 weeks. As far as book club, sadly we had to cancel book club. We'll get that up and going when we're allowed to have groups of people. There's no real rush. I'm definitely taking things easy. There's no reason to rush anything. Free Comic Book Day is going to be moved. We don't know when yet. Sometime in the fall, basically when we can have large groups of people in the store. Which is Free Comic Book Day is crazy and definitely the busiest, craziest day at here at the store, and there's no reason to get anybody in trouble. So that got moved, and we'll see where that goes. So right now we're just we're getting back. We're gonna see how things go. Hopefully everybody's safe and we can get back to normal. So as far as what's coming out, here's some highlights of stuff that is still coming out that I know of. We will start with DC because, like I said, DC is pretty much still going full bore. They have a couple anniversary books that will be coming out in the next few weeks. They have a Joker 80th Anniversary Super Special. They have a Catwoman 80th Anniversary Super Special, and also a Green Lantern 80th Anniversary Super Special. These are going to have all the decade variant covers by different artists, and then inside it's a 100-pager with lots of stories from different people. So those are specials that are coming. Event Leviathan is still going on. We're getting a Checkmate book where Leviathan has agents and acolytes all over the world, but what's the secret behind its power? There's also a Manhunter book where Kate Spencer, who was the most recent Manhunter, Everybody thought that she was Leviathan, and now she has to investigate what's going on because Leviathan was exposed as a prior Manhunter. The neat thing is this is written by Mark Andreyko, who kind of created her and did the series a while back. So it's kind of nice to see somebody coming back and getting on a character that they're familiar with and is much loved. Strange Adventures is continuing. This is the Tom King, Mitch Gerads, Doc Shaner book about Adam Strange and what's going on with him. Definitely in the same kind of mood as his Mr. Miracle run. So the first issue was really good. Looking forward to getting back on track on that. With Batman, we're getting still the lead up to Joker War and starting Joker War. Starting with number 92, which is the first Punchline cover. She's the hot character that's spinning out of what's going on in Batman, so this one's going to get a lot of demand. So that's finally coming. They're doing some more facsimile editions. They do like those. We're getting DC Superstars number 17, which is the first appearance of the Huntress. We're getting Detective 475, which is the first appearance, I believe, of the Jokerfish. Everybody loves Jokerfish. And then later on, that was the stuff that was supposed to ship in April, the key stuff. And now the stuff that was supposed to ship in June, that hopefully will be, or this was supposed to ship in May, but should be coming in June. The big one is Dark Knight's Death Metal. This is the sequel to Dark Knight's Metal that was the big Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo Batman event that introduced the Batman Who Laughs and all that. And so they're doing Death Metal, which is continuing the story. And now the Justice League has been trapped by the Dark Multiverse, and they're at the mercy of the Batman Who Laughs, and how are they going to get out of that? Then we also have Generation 1. I'm not sure if this is still going on. This is their 5G thing that they'd been talking about, which is kind of revamping the history of the DC Universe. That's supposed to be starting soon, where we're going to see the DC Universe, the secret history of the DC Universe through the eyes of Wonder Woman and Lucius Fox and some other characters. So I'm not 100% sure that's still going on. That was the brainchild of Dan DiDio, who was removed from the company in February. So we'll see. Everything's up in the air. Another one that they're starting is Batman: The Adventure Continues. And this is continuing the story of Batman Adventures, the cartoon series that is so well loved. They're coming back to that with Paul Dini writing it, who was the mastermind behind all that. So there's a lot of excitement behind that. Batman 95 is the actual start of Joker War. Basically, it's the Clown Prince of Crime versus the Dark Knight Detective for the last time. So we'll see how that goes. Batman the Smile Killer is a one-shot follow-up to Joker Killer Smile by Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. That was one of the big Black Mask books, one of the oversized ones, and we're getting a one-shot with Batman kind of having his say regarding the story. The Dreaming is back with season 2 called The Waking Hours, and this is written by G. Willow Wilson. This is one of the Sandman books, so I'm glad that's continuing. Man-Bat is a mini-series where Kirk Langstrom, who's the Man-Bat, has finally hit rock bottom, and he's decided to take out all of his misery on all the citizens of Gotham. And can the Gotham Police Department stop him? Then we get some Joker War tie-ins. We're getting Batman 47 is a Joker War tie-in. Detective 2023 is a Joker War tie-in. There's another Batman Secret Files coming, which is kind of just a bunch of small short stories by different creators, which is kind of neat. Letting some people get their say, getting their Batman writing credit in for them. But they've been enjoyable so far. Catwoman 23 is an interesting one. This is being co-written by Sean Gordon Murphy. Basically, he's taking over just a little, I think it's a short 2-story arc where Catwoman is kind of taking a break and just decides to go into the jungle to get away from everything, and decides to, there's a secret cabal doing a secret auction, and she decides to steal a diamond from there. A couple more facsimile editions coming out later are Green Lantern 76, which was the start of the famous Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams run on that. Man-Bat #1 to tie in with the miniseries, and Wonder Woman #1 because the movie was supposed to come out, but this is from the 1987 run by George Perez, a real classic run. Like I said, Marvel is slowing down. We're not going to be getting any real big Marvel books. We're getting the big books, which I appreciate. We're getting Avengers and Spider-Man, and those kind of books are going to keep coming, but we're not getting any, like Empire has been delayed. All their event stuff. I do appreciate that because even though we're able to be open, there's still a lot of stores that can't be open, so there's no point in rushing product to closed stores. So I have plenty here to sell. So come on by. And then there are some more coming from some other publishers. Image has a neat one, Adventure Man. This is by Matt Fraction and Terry Dodson. And basically, Adventure Man was an old hero, and his story, like the old serials, ended on a cliffhanger where he was about to be murdered by his arch nemesis, and then his story ended. It never came back, and this is the story of someone remembering that and trying to figure out what exactly happened to Adventure Man. Firepower, this was a big Kirkman and Chris Samnee book about an American kid going off to China to learn how to master the firepower, a lost art. This was supposed to all tie in with Free Comic Book Day. The Free Comic Book Day was going to be the prelude to it. The next week, the issues were going to come out. So that kind of all got messed up. So hopefully that's still coming out. The Ludocrats, I know this is coming out. This is coming out on the 20th. Kieran Gillen and Jeff Stokely about some basically aristocrats of the ludicrous. I'm excited. Kieran Gillen has done really well in his career. He just finished up Wicked and Divine. He's doing Die right now. And Jeff Stokely did one of my all-time favorite books, Six Gun Gorilla. So I'm excited for this book. Nailbiter returns. That's about, there's a town in Oregon that is well known for creating serial killers for some reason, and now someone has started doing copycat murders. So Nailbiter returns. The Exorcisters returns, and Low is back. It's had a real long break, and it's back for its final arc. Bog Bodies. This is an original graphic novel written by Declan Shalvey, who did a great run on Moon Knight, and then he mostly does covers. He's doing a new Punisher Barracuda book that's coming out. This was kind of one of his second original graphic novel. And basically a hitman has a botched hit and goes into hiding, where he runs into this girl in the bog. And basically it's a story of how they kind of team up to survive this mysterious bog that's been a dumping ground for bodies for years. And then there's a Paul is Dead graphic novel coming about the Beatles. Dark Horse has some fun stuff. There's a Spy Island, a Bermuda Triangle mystery that I love just because of the cover. It's like an old 70s novel cover. Just as soon as I saw it, it reminded me of all my dad's old books. This is written by Chelsea Kane, who did Maneater, and before that she did The Mockingbird, and she's done some other things. Last Night of St. Hagen is a new one from the Vignolaverse, set in the beginnings of World War II, about a Polish spy on the run from the Nazis, and gets confusing, and somehow St. Hagen gets involved. He's an old mythical saint from olden times. Alien, the original screenplay. They've taken the original screenplay and made it into a comic. They've enjoyed doing that with some other of the series. I think Aliens 3 was the main one they did that with. So they're gone back to the original movie to do it. Colonel Weird Cosmagog is continuing Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer series. He's getting his own miniseries. Dead Dog's Bite is by Tyler Boss, written and drawn by him. He was the artist on Four Kids Walk Into a Bank with Matthew Rosenberg. And he's doing a girl has gone missing, and basically it's up to her kind of slacker best friend. Everybody else has given her up for dead, and now it's on her shoulders that she has to go try to find her. Everything, which was a story of this really creepy Walmart type store that has everything, is coming back with a second season with Everything 2. Then we have some stuff from IDW, interesting one, Sleeping Beauties, which is basically an adaptation of a Stephen King and Owen King novel about a mysterious illness has struck the country, and people are falling into a deep sleep and can't be woken. But it's only affecting women, except in this one town where this strange woman, Eve, walks out of the woods and a trail of murder follows her. So, Star Wars Adventures is doing a Clone Wars book. So if you're a fan of the Clone Wars, this is going to follow along that storyline. They're also doing a Star Trek Deep Space Nine book, so if you're a fan of that series. Transformers 84. Transformers started in 1984 with a mini-series that turned into a very long series, and then they just revisited that recently with a zero issue reflecting back on those early issues, and it did so well they've decided to continue it. So now we're getting a Secrets and Lies mini-series set in that time frame. Dynamite. So Dynamite has a book coming out I'm very, very excited about. The Boys was one of my favorite books when it was coming out. It was a guilty pleasure. There was nothing redeeming about the book. It was just fun. And then they did a TV show, so it's gotten a nice big resurgence. And now they're doing a sequel to it called The Boys, Dear Becky. And it's 12 years after the end of The Boys. Huey is getting married to Annie, and as they're getting ready, all of a sudden a mysterious document appears. And it leads him down a path to destruction. Basically, there's one story that he never knew about the boys, and that's what happened to Butcher's wife, Becky, and now it's all going to come out, and he's going to find out all about it. So it's just, I think it's a 6-issue miniseries, but I'm really excited for this little coda to the boys' story. Dynamite's also they've been doing Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew books, and now they're doing Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys, The Death of Nancy Drew. So Nancy has been killed, and the Hardy Boys have to figure out what happened. Boom has some stuff going on. We have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 50 is coming out. They have Faithless number 2, which is a Brian Azzarello story by Maria Lovett. That one was really popular, kind of a dark, very mature story, and it did well enough that they're going to continue that story along. Buffy has one called Every Generation, which is a story of prior Slayers, and it's going to introduce a very important character into the Buffy mythology. So if you're a Buffy fan, you're going to want to get that. Now we're going to get to the back of the book, some of the smaller publishers. So I really don't know when these are coming, because I know these guys are on different schedules and a lot of shutdown at different times. So I'm just going to highlight some of the ones that I think will be coming. Ablaze is a brand new company, and they started with Conan the Cimmerian, and they also did that Vampire State Building. So they have a new one called Red Nails, which is a classic Conan story that they're going to be adapting. Aftershock has a couple interesting ones. Disaster Inc., which is basically the main story is set at in Japan, where you had the nuclear meltdown, but people still want to go there and visit. So Disaster Inc. is this special travel agency for the places you're not supposed to go, you're not allowed to go. So if you have enough money or secrets or influence, you can go places other people can't. Dead Day. What if dead people could come back for one day? Would you want them to? Do you want to see a loved one or find out how somebody got murdered? Things like that. So it's going to explore that. Ahoy has a new one called Ashen Thorn. This is basically, there's a great evil upon the earth, and the lineage of Earth's great hero falls on to Ash, who's an old lady. And is she going to be able to defend the world at the time of need? Archie is bringing back another Sabrina series, more along the kids line, not like the Chilling Adventures line, but the first one did well. Aspen is coming back with another Fathom series, and basically there's two worlds, the world above and the world below the water, and one of them will not survive. Dun, dun, dun. AWA has a new one coming out. It's called Zero Year. It's their version of the zombie apocalypse. 5 different people from different places kind of band together to see if they can make their way through the world, through the zombie apocalypse. They're getting a little close to home. Oni has one, Rogue Planet. This is by Cullen Bunn. And a space one. To get a payload fit for a king, salvage vessel Cortez must brave Razor Rock, poisonous vapors, and the most mind-numbing horrors imaginable. So that sounds fun. There's 2 Rick and Morty books coming. We have Rick and Morty Go to Hell and Rick and Morty Council of Ricks, because I know they have a big following. Valiant has a new one coming out too. It's kind of a murder mystery called Final Witness. A superpowered serial killer is terrorizing San Francisco, but they're no Zodiac. They're worse. Will a new electrified hero on the scene be able to stop the rising body count? And then lastly, we have one from Vault. Vault, who's been great, has a new one called 100 Wolves, and it's basically a story almost like feudal Japan. The 100 Wolves are these people that live in the mountains and terrorize the villagers, and it's a story of family and survival. So those are the kind of the highlights of the books that I think will be coming out over the next 6 weeks or so. Everything is really kind of up in the air, so just pay attention. Every week I post what's coming the next week, and that's about the best I got at this point. Seeing what's on my invoice. Shipping schedules are off. Publishing schedules are off. Printers, I'm sure, are now overwhelmed because they've been closed and getting a lot of stuff sent to them. So everything, it looks like it's going to kind of be coming out slowly, which is good. Just I don't know what's going on with you guys. I know, a lot of people are out of work and getting unemployment and stimulus money and all that, and food and bills are more important than comics right now, and I completely understand that. Like I said, I'm doing fine. The store's just fine. If you can make it down, great. If you need something to ease the boredom, I have plenty to read. The dogs are missing everybody terribly. I've been here this week, and some people have stopped by to say hi, and the dogs have really, really enjoyed that. So, if nothing else, come by to say hi to them, because they miss everybody too. They're a little freaked out by the masks, so if they kind of look at you funny, don't worry, it's not you. Other than that, that's what we got. I really have no plans as far as a monthly special, or, like I said, book club's been delayed. So we're just going to kind of play everything by ear for a while, see how everybody's doing. Like I said, I had grand plans for getting stuff bagged and priced, and I spent far too much time staring at the TV or looking at my phone, and was very unproductive during my time off. So I apologize for that. So that's what we got. If I can find anything to preview, we'll do a Comics Previews Theater, but thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please get a hold of me. You can get the website's pittsburghcomics.com, Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics, Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. I'll be here every day. The only day I'm going to be closed is Monday. Tim isn't coming back just yet. He's got some stuff going on, so I don't want to do 7 days a week. So I think that's about it. Thanks for watching. Welcome back, and I hope everybody's safe. See you.
Please, I can be ludicrous. These titles have been in my family for 100 generations. We've always been absurd. You are not absurd. Your sadism has become known to us all. Cruelty to cows is bad enough, but unimaginative cruelty to cows? You don't even have the fig leaf of brilliance to cower behind. That is why we've conspired to wed you to the lovely Elena, so your assets can be better applied to make things a better world. A better world not least because you won't be in it. Elena, can this be so?
Shh! Stop this tiresome delaying! Your lands, now! Chop chop!
Yes, I think it's best to be quiet now. You're making a scene.
But you're my best man. Surely Voltigin the Perfidious will not abandon me in my hour of peril.
Of course not. I abandoned you well before your hour of peril. I like to avoid the rush. A crowded backstabbing is so... Oh.
Please, let me try again. One final attempt to be ludicrous. Ludicrous? You can barely be zany. Enough, you little vile sadist. I've had more ludicrous things emerge from my nostrils.
He has. I've seen them. Which speaks to the point. It is of creation. The future must be born radiant and sticky from our paired face holes.
And you are now married. Lord Polderwart, your title and lands, from the Newcastle Serengeti to the time-sent egg of Shogog, your are now forfeit. No, it can't change. Boring people never change. I now pronounce you dead and wife.
After such a delightful wedding, so defined as being in the top 10th percentile of all ludicrous weddings, the parties retire to celebrate and await the arrivals of everyone fashionable enough to arrive late. Obviously, including the most fashionable of all, the Eldrick Hyperpope himself. They gathered in Otto's drawing room, a solely conceptual place where guests could explore fancies and amusements while sipping assorted beverages, etc., etc.
Oh God, it's that Dr. Exposition fellow, Hades.
Observe the good Dr. Exposition. Try to ignore the hurtful remarks of the famously buffoonish Otto.
Hide, Hades, he's perilously boring.
Exposition thought it best to depart, so left the drawing room, shamefaced.
Oh good, he's gone.